One of the challenges for a show like this is differentiating it from other developer shows. There's a lot of them out there. Microsoft has shows, other vendors have shows, we have our shows. What do you do to make Visual Studio Live stand out and make it a place that developers want to come?
It's a great question, and mostly it's about kind of a juggling act. We've got all these different interests, it's sometimes pulling in different directions, sometimes in opposite directions. So on the one hand, Microsoft is constantly refreshing the stack, constantly adding new APIs, new tools, new versions of Visual Studio, the core development environment, and even more ancillary things like SQL Server that I was talking about before. We have to help developers keep up with that. So that's kind of a low-hanging piece of fruit almost. But we also have to realize that Microsoft tends to roll these things out well in advance of their more mainstream adoption. Sometimes there's a lag time of a year, 2 years, or even more. And we have to kind of make sure that we cover both sides of that reality. We have to get people ready for what's coming down the pipeline when the adoption takes place. And we also have to keep them at a level of competency and productivity in the stuff that they're using day to day. So we try and focus on both fundamentals as well as the new things. It's very tricky to get really good speakers to cover stuff that's, let's say, a little bit older. But we do try and achieve that balance. We also try and keep the show at a size so that there's a level of intimacy so that attendees can have one-on-one conversations with the speakers, not just at the end of the session, but kind of in an ambient way in the hallways. Our speakers like that, the attendees like that, and it's a much different experience than you might get at a larger event put on by Microsoft like TechEd or Build. Those shows have their place, don't get me wrong. I attend them, I've spoken at them, but it's a different experience at a third-party show where we're really advocating for the attendees and not just evangelizing for the product groups.
Great. All right, Andrew Brust, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.